Hello and welcome to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. So joining me in the new year, if you're watching this in June, then it's not quite the new year, but I just want to talk about my New Year's resolutions quickly for this channel. So if you're new to the channel, skip ahead a couple of minutes and we'll get on to some woodland photography. So what are my New Year's resolutions? So when I did year 3 after my second year of YouTube, I did say I was going to travel further afield more, and I'm sticking to that. I have travelled a couple of places this year. I think I went to Durdledore, Blackchurch Rock and St Michael's Mount in Cornwall, so North Devon, Dorset and Cornwall. And that's going to continue, hopefully get up to Wales and at some point get to Scotland, but I don't know if that'll be within my 3rd year of YouTube. It might be into the 4th year. So that's one thing I'm definitely going to continue doing. The second thing is I'm going to get a little bit healthier. So when I'm talking, I'm out of breath, carrying a big backpack. I mean, it's 3.5 stone backpack, no excuse. I'm going to get a little bit of cardio done just so I don't have to puff and pant at you guys all the time. So that's going to be a big one on my list. Not a diet, none of that stuff, just trying to get a bit of cardio, make myself a little bit more healthier. And my third one is since starting YouTube, my landscape photography, I think, has improved because I'm out there doing it all the time. And one of the things I always struggle with is woodland photography because I find it so hard to find compositions. So this resolution is going to be to get out and do more of what I don't like. So I don't like woodland photography for that reason, even though I love the actual photography, the actual going out and filming something in the woodland. I just try and avoid it because I usually come away with nothing. But like I said, since starting YouTube, my landscape photography has improved, so the same can be applied to my woodland photography. If I do it more, I should get better at it. And then all the other little types of photography that I don't do, I'll do more of as well, like astrophotography. Again, not very good at it, so I'll just do it more and just get better at it. And then in the long run, it's all about improving your photography, isn't it? So that's the goal for this year. So hopefully you'll join me for this journey, and yeah, we'll get some good videos made and have a good year. So let's crack on to the content. So we're on Dartmoor National Park in the woods. I found this wood by accident. I come out because it was really misty, and I thought I'm going to go out, try and find a woodland, because woodland and mist is always good separation. And when you're first trying to improve your photography in woodlands, always best if you've got some mist in the scene, create some atmosphere and make the image a little bit nicer. And I've got here, and the mist is almost gone. It's dissipating. Story of my life with mist. I seem to get to places and the mist disappears really quickly. However, it's not going to stop me. I'm still going to take some images, hopefully get some nice compositions. Use depth of field, try and isolate subjects and whatnot. It should be interesting. But just quickly as well, I've got some new walking boots. Don't know if you noticed. So when I first started YouTube over 2.5 years ago, I actually did my first vlog without any, I just did it in trainers and walked up on the moors. Nearly broke my ankle about 15 times trying to make a video. And I thought, I'm going to need some walking boots. So I bought some Peter Storm ones, cost me 90 quid, I think, £90 at the time. And I remember thinking to myself, there's a lot of money for a pair of walking boots, they better be good. And they were okay, they did the job, they were waterproof. And I found them a little bit slippery in certain situations, but overall did a good job. And then Lidl recently did some walking boots for £17.99, waterproof as well. And I thought, well, I'll give it a go. So I bought a pair, tried them on, walked around in them, really nice and comfy. Waterproof, like I said, and the grip is really good as well. So out of a Peter Storm pair that I bought to the Lidl pair, I prefer the Lidl pair. So I went out and bought 2 more pairs. So I've got 3 pairs of walking boots now. And yeah, so if these wear out, hopefully the other 2 will suit. I'll take them in turn, but hopefully they'll last just as long as a Peter Storm pair, and it's cost me less than 60 quid. So awesome. Also, I need to replace my wind muff on my mic. I've just snapped the thing off trying to clip it to my jumper. So that's another thing I'll have to do. But yeah, so let's get set up for a composition. So these woods are quite nice. They're quite scattered. If you look up this way, they're nice and uniform, but if you come down the side, they're actually quite uneven and scattered, which is quite cool. So I'm going to try my first composition. I've bought a 100 to 400 because I figure get nice isolation in that and get some nice images out of that. So I'm going to try a composition. I'm going to look for a set of trees, maybe rule of odds, 3 trees, maybe use some of this mist in the background. I'm just trying to find a decent set of trees there. So that's my first thought for woodland photography, rule of odds. So I'm just going to look for some. I'm not sure what these things are called. I've had this one for a little while. It's basically, this is called a view catcher. So basically it's like looking through your composition. So it's got, this one's got a 11 by 4, an 8 by 12, 8 by 12, a 9 by 12, and 11 by 4, is that? 11 by 14. That was a bit small. 8 by 10, 12 by 16. And a square crop. So basically what you do is you pull this to the size of your composition, and then when you're trying to find your composition like this, it just removes the background clutter, so you can focus on what you're actually taking an image of, and you can just have a little bit of a clear thinking of what you can see, because a lot of the time you have a good peripheral vision with your eyes. And I always find like you take everything in, don't you? And it's very hard to see what you want. So I find that helps with, especially like cluttered scenes, like woodland compositions. And sometimes if I'm out, I think a Valley of Rocks video, I used it there because I just couldn't separate the peripheral stuff. Rather than getting my camera out and, you know, setting up a composition, this I could just walk around, have a little scope round and find the composition that I want. So get one of those, really good. So the composition that I've just seen is actually the rule of odds, but not as I initially envisioned it. Initially I thought one in the middle, one either side. So I have 3 trees, but these are 3 trees that are behind each other. So they're in a row, but staggered. So I'm going to try for that and see whether that makes a good image. Like I said, the mist isn't there as it was when I first got here, so I've not got too high hopes for this, but yeah, we'll give it a go for the first image. It's going to be 100 to 400 on, see what that does to start with, and then we will maybe, I've got this 17 to 40 as well. Oops. So we'll see whether this is enough. Right, so not the greatest composition to start us off, but I think this kind of works. Rule of odds, so you got this tree in the foreground, midground and background, separated nicely, well, almost nicely with a bit of mist. Not overly happy with this tree. There's a little bit extra on this tree, but it'll have to do. I've come down a little bit, so I've got the base of the tree in the shot, the whole of this tree as well, so that's quite good. I quite like it. I might do a stack. I might take one just of this tree focused, and then a stack of all of them and see which one I like best. I think a stack with are all in focus might be nice. So yeah, so that's my shot. My settings is a 1/6 of a second, f4.5 I think. Yeah, f4.5 ISO 100 and 100mm focal length, so it's the furthest out I can come with this lens. But I just think that, yeah, as a rule of odds, I think that would be quite nice. Two-second timer. Beautiful. And then I'll just stack that. Focus on that tree. And this camera might struggle just on the end one because it's out. I think it's out of the, yeah, the focus. And mine doesn't go all the way to the edge, unfortunately. So what I should do is punch in on my autofocus. So I need to take that off. Autofocus. Where is autofocus? That stabilizes off. Autofocus, manual focus is right there. Punch in there. That's it. Then get that shot. Nice and focused. There we go. So I'll pop that image up on screen. Beautiful, first image in the bag. Now, another thing I am going to do on this channel, which I forgot to mention, is I'm going to try and explain things a little bit more. So my thought process, why I do things. I'm going to try and increase the amount I do that because I do forget a lot. So for example, that one there, what I should have said to you was the reason I was doing a 3 focus stack rather than increasing my aperture to say f11 or f16. And getting the depth of field that way was because the trees were so close to me where I was stood. I could have gone all the way back there, but I probably would have missed the shot from back there. So because the trees were so close, the closeness increases, or decreases the depth of field. It makes it a shallower depth of field. So if you're ever trying to get background isolation, moving closer to your subject will increase that, the blurry effect that you get from the depth of field being so shallow. So that's why I couldn't do an f16, even though I bumped my ISO up to f22, I would have still had some of it out of focus. So yeah, I'm gonna head up here, just see a group of trees up there as well, and see what we can find up there. All right, so I'm just heading down here, but the mist looks really good down here. It's nice and thick. However, the trees do look like they're thinning out a little bit, so I don't know how far down I want to go, but I've just been trying to look on Google Maps to see whether it would tell me on there, but I've not got no signal. So yeah, so another thing for the channel is no hat. I've worn a hat for years, and I noticed a few times on some of my videos, especially in the summer, the peak, it obviously does its job, keeps the sun out of your eyes, but I noticed a lot of time my face is in complete darkness. So I'm going to try no hat. It's a bit unusual for me, but let's give it a go anyway. And yeah, there's a lot of changes for this channel. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, I think I've mentioned it a few times on my channel, this little Joby Gorilla Pod. One of the legs fell off, so up just at the top here split, and it every time I was trying to do a video, the leg would fall off and hit the floor in the mud and whatever. It started to get annoying, so I thought I'd go and buy another one, as you do. Only about, I'd say about 25, 30 quid, so it's not too expensive, it's not going to break the bank. But also I was a bit reluctant because I don't want to waste money on something that's going to break again. So I chucked a bit of super glue in the leg socket, and it seems to have worked. It's held. So yeah, fingers crossed. Never underestimate the power of super glue. My K&F tripod. The legs come unscrewed on that, so KNF replaced 2 of them. And then when the third one went, I thought, oh, I can't be bothered. It's too much effort sending it back or getting new parts for it. So I just super glued it, and it seems to have held as well. So yeah, super glue. Call me Bodge and leg it on this channel. So yeah, excellent. Right, so I've came up higher. There's a tree down there. I'm not going that way. I did come up higher. I've just come back down this way. I'm going back up. I've just come up higher to try and get the thicker fog. I thought, well, maybe it's nice and thick the higher you go, and that is true. Yeah, it is thick, but up here it's all new trees and there's been a lot of woodland clearing going up here, a lot of tree felling going on. So the compositions aren't that great. So I'm going to go back down and get the thinner fog, because the choice is thicker fog, less trees, thinner fog, more trees. So I'm going to go for the more trees option. But a quick tip, if you live anywhere like me, I live in Teignmouth, so we've got the estuary going up. So in the morning, you get the sun that will burn off that fog and burn off the water, the dew, and you get this nice fog. But as you leave Teignmouth, or you get to higher ground, it's not there, it's completely gone. So there's a few times I've gone out to make a video and I thought, go Dartmoor, and by the time I leave Teignmouth, it's all gone. So I have to come back and do something locally. However, I've now got a little trick that I use. If you go onto Bing, I think it is, they have their own, I can't remember what it's called, I'll put it in the description. It's a traffic camera system. You can log on to the traffic cameras from anywhere in the country. Well, not anywhere, but the ones that are accessible. But if it's foggy in your area and you know somewhere you want to go, get on the traffic cameras, look at the traffic cameras. If it's foggy, you know it's a good one, go. If it's not, you know to stay local. Free tip, you're welcome. Right, I've just come back down. So I originally headed up here, and then I come back up and went up this big steep hill here. I've just come back down to the crossroads where I was before, and I've done a 40-minute walk. Not bad, but as I've come down, the fog's gotten a bit denser down here, so I'm quite pleased with that. I'm just looking at this pathway going all the way up through here, and I think if I come over here, maybe here, you can kind of see it go round that corner. And obviously with all the fog in the trees, I think that'll make a nice composition. So I'm going to set that up quickly. Right, so I got the composition that I want. I'm not 100% sure on whether I want to be a little bit closer to it or not though. So at the moment I'm at 40mm, and this is a 17 to 40 lens. The other lens I got is 100 to 400, which is going to be too close. I need somewhere around the 60mm focal length, I think. So I can either move closer to it, move further away and stick the 100 to 400 on, or I can crop in on post. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move forward. Well, I'm going to take a picture here quickly, and then I'm going to move forward just in case what I see here doesn't look right when I get closer to it. It's going to, I'm going to use the cropping option. But yeah, so what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to use the path as a leading line, going all the way up through the trees. And as you can see, the trees disappearing in the background for the fog. My settings are 1/8 of a second at ISO 100, f11 and 40mm focal length. So I'm going to take that shot, I'll pop it up on the screen. Also, the other thing to note with this as well, so depending on how you compose this, you will see, I'll just grab you a sec, there's a really big bright spot right here, which is going to draw your eye all the way up through the image to that bright spot. Now, whether you want the eye led that way or not, or whether you just bring the composition down, zoom in, so which is what I've done, is I've zoomed in here, but I've still got a little bit of a bright spot there. So I don't know what, I might try a couple of compositions, a couple of shots, one with the bright spot, one without the bright spot, because I think it is a distraction, but it also could lead your eye through the image better. I'm not entirely sure, I'll see in post, but that's the shot I'm going to go for. So I'm going to focus about 2/3 down the image because I'm on f11 and I've got a wide angle lens on, focusing using autofocus. And what I'm doing is I'm bringing the path in from the left hand side and it's coming out to the right and then back into the left again. So almost an S curve, but not quite. And then that's that image, and I'll put that up on the screen, and then I'm going to take one from zoomed out with that bright spot in the sky. Let me know what you think in the comments. Which one do you prefer? Is the bright spot really distracting? Does it take away from the image, or do you think it adds something? I got stuck taking pictures on that little pathway. I've probably put a few up. I might put a few up, I don't know, depending whether they're any different or not. They kind of look the same. But I've literally turned right into this forest, and I've got another composition that I've set up here. I'm not sure if it works because I think there's too much tree here. But I've tried to balance it with another tree on the edge here, so I've almost got a natural frame here. And this is my subject with all the background trees and mist as the background elements. No, I'm not sure if it works, like I said. I might just play around with the compositions, whether I move it down a little bit, move it up a little bit. But that's what I've got. F11, ISO 100 at 1 second, a 28mm focal length. I'll pop the image up. I'm going to play around and see what I can, see what compositions I can come up with on this subject. I've just been trying to play around with getting my tripod the right length, because I want to try and get a shot like this, but with the ball head it's a bit hard to get it so it is vertical rather than it being on the slant, and you have to mess about with your tripod legs, and you have to mess about with the height of your stem, which makes the image a little bit unstable. My daughter did buy me a geared head for Christmas. So it's a newer gear head. It's about £120 on Amazon at the moment. And I'm going to be trying that out. But also Colin, who I also do videos with, occasionally you see him in my videos. He's got his own channel now. Places to visit in, God, I want to say Devon. It's really bad because I always say places to visit in Tiverton, because he lives in Tiverton area. So I always say places to visit around Tiverton as a joke, but then I forget what his channel name is. So sorry, Colin. But I'll put a link in the description to his channel down below. But he's got a K&F gear head. So I might try a comparison out and see which one's better, see whether they're both the same. And I think his gear head was in the £200. So quite a lot, nearly double the price of mine, maybe even more, I'm not sure. So there's a review of that going to be coming up on the channel, or a review of my geared head on the channel, and a comparison video of the two, I think, hopefully, if I can pull it off. So yeah, so that's going to come up, because this is quite hard. Using a ball head is okay, but a geared head is going to be much easier to get those compositions and just make those fine adjustments. Right, so the fog is staying and it's getting thicker, but I have to go, unfortunately. So hopefully you found this video useful, interesting, entertaining, whatever draws you to these videos. Hopefully you got what you needed out of it. I've been trying to include some of those little nuggets of wisdom in there. But, you know, it's hard, it's YouTube. So yeah, just leaves me to say thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.